Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of SevTech. How are you guys doing today? How's life? So what is the plan for today? As I have mentioned at the end of the last episode, today we're going to work on quality of life improvements, automating stuff and making resources in bulk. And it's not just today, it's probably also the next episode, because we have so much to do. Anyhow, let's get down to business. This might sound very weird to you, but our first quality of life improvement is going to be a bonsai pot. And not just any bonsai pot, a hopping bonsai pot. And making this framing table was an advancement. We are going to need some drawers in order to automate the bonsai pots, and I think these ones are good. We're just gonna put it here in our backyard. I was hoping that it will blend in. It's not, but it's fine. And this should provide us with a steady supply of apples so that we can use it instead of wild berries, and also give us wood and sticks. And since one of our issues in this mod pack is food, I would assume it's a wise decision to invest in a gluttony charm so that we can eat really fast. And you can go there? Good. Although we need to start getting better food, the thing is we're not rich and we do not have that many automations. So we're gonna stick with these until maybe next episode or this one. Our first priority for today is to generate a crazy amount of RF. I do have a plan in mind, but I'm not exactly sure if it's a viable plan or not. We will see soon enough. But for that we're going to need a lot of manulin and a lot of steel. What that basically means is that I need to find a crazy amount of cobalt and iridite. I fully understand that 40 cobalt ore and 42 iridite ore is not a crazy amount, but that's what we got, so we need to start with that. We need to make some manulin and we are going to waste 20 cobalt and 20 iridite. I'm saying wasting because if we make an arc furnace, we can double these. And the way that I have in mind in order to generate a decent amount of RF for the start is through advanced generators. It's a really cool mod. I also personally think that all the textures are really neat and it's very functional. And the way that we're going to power that is through steam. It is going to consume a crazy amount of iron and also manulin, but it is perfectly okay. We are going to start with a steam turbine controller. Since we are going to provide it with steam, we are also going to require a fluid intake valve, and for extracting the RF, we are going to need a forge energy emitter. Now comes the really tricky part. The thing is, you can use different turbines and they will generate different amounts of RF. So, for instance, if we use gold, we will get 150 RF per tick per turbine. If we use manulin, that's 500 RF per tick, and we can have 50 turbines. The only downside is a manulin turbine is extremely expensive and we cannot afford it. I mean, technically we can afford it, I just forgot to bring the manulin. Based on the recipe, I think each turbine is going to consume 11 manulin ingots, because 5 of them will give you 4 blades, and you need 8 blades in order to make the rotor, and you just need 1 rotor in order to make the turbine. The advanced generators is a multi-block structure, but it's modular. You are going to need a controller anyways. You also need a way to extract the RF, so this is why we have the energy emitter. You also need a valve in order to input the steam, and you need something in order to generate the RF, which is the turbine. And you can literally put it down any way that you want. So we're going to have the fluid intake valve over here, and if we give you a little bit of water, you should be able to give us a bit of steam, and it is already generating us RF. It's 20 RF per tick. Why? No, it is actually 500 RF per tick. Okay, yeah, we are out of steam, but it was generating us 500 RF per tick, so that is good. So why am I saying that I'm not exactly sure if this is a viable option or not? The reason is, we need to provide it with a stupid amount of steam, and the setup that we have over here is not gonna cut it. And in order to make enough steam, I think we are going to need a solar tower from SevTech, which is going to require at least 1 solar reflector, and we also need to make a distiller in order to make distilled water. Since we are going to relocate everything to our industrial area, I did extend the highway and I did added a lot of totems. The problem is, they're not covering the entire path, and it's very weird. Sometimes you will get the effect, sometimes you don't. It's actually not the best solution because it eats through your hunger, but for the moment, that's the most convenient way of traveling. Anyway, in our industrial area, we need to generate some RF, and I did set up 14 thermoelectric generators. I forgot my hammer. I was reading the comments and some of you guys were suggesting that instead of packed ice, we should use liquid starlight because it's a much cooler fluid. And that is very true, so we're going to use liquid starlight. Is this gonna kill me? Yes. Probably. I also made 2 HV capacitors and each one of them has the capacity of 4 million RF. So in this way, we should have a buffer as well. And the reason that we have this setup over here is that because we need a little bit of RF in order to power some machines and some pumps. I would say it looks decent enough. Now we should be able to at least make some machines. The first thing that we're going to set up at our industrial area is a set of 4 metal presses. And you might be asking to yourself, Lash, why 4? Because technically speaking, 3 of them should be more than enough, right? And I completely agree with you. I did make 3, then I remembered I have an extra one next to the base. So unfortunately, we're going to have 4 of them. We just connect you to you and we should be able to just power these guys. I'm not a fan of doing this because the cables are now too low, and if I touch the wire, I'm dead. It's not going to make a huge difference, but we're gonna put it like this. It will be 2 blocks higher, which is not that bad. Very good, very good. Now we should start wasting some steel in order to make it look nice. I also made some covered extracting conveyor belts, and we're going to put them over here, and then we're going to feed them using some crates. So the crates will go over here, and for the moment we only have 2 molds anyway. One of them is for the rods, and one is for plates. And generally if we put something in the crate, it should be extracted and it will go inside the press. And later on we're going to have a collection system over here to make it look nice, but for the moment we can use hoppers. Also, I do understand that some of you guys are not going to be happy with the choice of hempcrete because I use it a lot, but you should remember that in this mod pack I don't have access to that many blocks. And besides, this looks amazing. The only question is, can we have another pole over here so that we can add more machines? I mean, I do understand we can have another pole here, but will the wire connect? Yes, it does. Very good. Okay, after gathering some resources and a lot of crafting, I did manage to make 2 crushers, and I think I'm missing 1 block. Yes, one over here and one over here. So now you should form? Yes. Whenever we're setting up something from immersive engineering, we normally have access to draconic evolution energy crystals, so wiring was never an issue. But right now, unfortunately it is. So can we break down some charcoal? Actually, not charcoal, coal coke. Because eventually we are going to need graphite electrodes so that we can use it in the arc furnace. And if we put a crate over here, there won't be a mess. In order to make the graphite electrodes, we're also going to need a squeezer, and I think I have everything we need for this one as well. The question is, how do we want to set it up? I'm guessing this way? This guy also has power, and if we give it the coke dust, it should make us the graphite ingots. It's consuming all the RF, but okay, I'm not complaining. And I think we can just put a conveyor belt over here, and I wish I had a crate, but I'll bring one for it. So we did manage to make the HOP graphite dust, and all we have to do is to just smelt it in order to get the ingots. But that's not all, we also need this. And this is very expensive. Okay, let me see what we have. It was pretty expensive, but we have everything except the reinforced blast bricks, which we are going to steal it from here because we don't need this guy anymore. The arc furnace is going to make us steel anyways. That is 26. Where's the other one? Oh, it's up there. The arc furnace is going to consume 4096 RF per tick, which for us is something that we cannot achieve at least today. But if you give it less power, it should still work. Much slower, but it should work. And what I'm trying to say is that this is going to be a temporary setup, and later on we're going to relocate it where we have our generator. I think it looks correct. Let us try that anyways. Oh yeah, it is going to destroy our entire RF generation, but it's okay. It's a temporary setup so that we can have ore dabbling. There is a mod in this mod pack that whenever you drop a flower or drop a sapling, it's going to replant it immediately. So whenever you want to clear the ground, you have to pick up every single flower and throw it away somewhere very safe. All I'm saying is that this is very irritating when you don't have a proper trash can in your inventory. We have reached a small problem over here. In order to make one of these HOP graphite dust, you're going to need 8 coke dust. And each coke dust is basically 1 coal coke, so it is going to take a fair bit of time. And you need 1 graphite dust in order to make the ingot, and apparently there is something called an ultimate ingot. Okay, but that's not the one. And you need 4 graphite ingots in order to make 1 graphite electrode. And we need 3 of them. This is going to take, I don't know, half an hour, but at least we can make 1 electrode. That's good. It actually took more than half an hour, and I even had to install these guys over here, but I think we have everything we're going to need. I have 2 electrodes in my inventory, and one of them is in the arc furnace. And now we have 3 of them, which you can see it on the top. And here is how ore dabbling works. So we have to drop the clusters in a crusher, which is going to make us 2 grits, and depending on what you drop, you might also get a bonus, which for instance for iron, it's nickel. But the thing is, these grits that you get, you cannot smelt them down. You have to use an arc furnace. So this is ore dabbling, but it's a very expensive ore dabbling. Let us see if it works. Yes. And how much RF are we consuming? It's not that bad. Actually, if we put them like this, then it's not going to keep up, but it's fine, we're not in a hurry. And the reason that I dismantled our blast furnace was because in the arc furnace we have a recipe for steel. And also the reason that we have more crushers than the arc furnace is that the arc furnace is super fast because it can process 12 items at a time. Of course, if it has enough RF. Right now, it's not working that fast. One of the reasons that I made this arc furnace was to dabble iodite and cobalt, but unfortunately, it doesn't work on them, which is fine by me because we're dabbling all the other ores, so I'm happy. Also, another reason that I'm very happy is that we set up these metal presses and I don't have to wait for plates that long. The setup that we have over here and the machines that we have assembled might not look like much, but I can assure you that made us bankrupt. And since right now I'm very low on resources, I don't think we would be able to finish the power situation today, but we're at least going to try and figure out how it's going to work. I told you earlier that we are going to use this advanced generator in order to generate RF, and we're going to power it using steam. But there is another option, which is called Syngas. If you look at the recipe, it doesn't really tell you much, but I think I know how to make it. Because in any case, this is a much better fuel than steam, and if we manage to automate this, I think we should be fine. But for that, we're going to need a Syngas producer controller. It's another multi-block structure, and for that we are also going to need a fluid intake valve for water, an output valve so that we can extract the syngas, an item input port because we need to provide it with solid fuel. Then we are going to need one heating chamber, and according to the wiki you're going to need 5 mixing chambers per one heating chamber. And this is the last of our iron. I think we have more iron ore, but I need to process them. For testing purposes, we're just going to set it up over here. So the controller goes over here, the output over there, and the rest we just assemble it into a single line. We also need a little bit of RF, so can we make U? Almost. We need to provide this guy with water, so I did bring a pump from Immersive Engineering and we're going to put this side on output. And if we put one bucket of water underneath, provide this guy with a little bit of RF, give it a redstone signal, it should provide us with water. New. Just out of curiosity, do you have to be directly attached? I'm seriously confused, so you do take water from an infinite water source, but not from a water source block. Aha, that's going to be a pain. So you cannot put it on top of one source block, it has to be 3. Now we're getting water, which is very good. Just to clarify what it is that I'm trying to do over here, we are going to generate RF using advanced generators. We can provide it different types of fuel, but the most efficient ones and the ones that we can renew are either syngas or steam. Because we can also use oil, but oil is not renewable. I know it's very shocking, but in any case, this guy is a syngas producer. It is going to take water, and if we provide it with solid fuel, it's going to convert it into carbon, it's going to heat up, and it is going to make us syngas. Of course, it's going to take a very long time until it heats up. The heat in the syngas producer has exceeded 100 heat units, and we have a little bit of syngas. But now it's dropping because we're out of coal. But I think for testing purposes, this is going to be enough. And of course, we need to change the controller over here because now we're going to try it with syngas and not steam. The question is, can we export it? Yeah, for a moment I thought I made a boo-boo because these guys are not connected, but the syngas actually went into our gas turbine and it already made us 100,000 RF. Nice. We don't have that much iron left, so let us try to make a basic power capacitor, which is going to increase the capacity of the generator by, I don't know, 1 million RF. So you should be generating us more. Good. I'm not an expert, but I think this is a viable option because we're not burning that much syngas, although we have only one turbine, but we are generating 500 RF. And you should remember, we can expand on this and we can expand on this. So it will be much more efficient. The only problem is that we're out of iron, so there's not much I can do. Alright guys, the thing is, I did go and gathered much more iron and we are filthy rich. We still need to smelt them, which is going to take some time. But the thing is, I noticed that whatever I do, I'm going to need far more resources in order to finish this project today, because this is actually a massive project. The thing is, I'm not exactly sure, do I want to provide this with coal or do I want to produce the steam myself and then pump it in? And if I want to make the steam, I'm going to need much more steel in order to make the solar towers. So these are going to take some time, and I think we will do that next episode. For the moment, let us focus on some other things that matter. For instance, discovering 2 additional constellations. We still need to discover Evorsio and Armara. I'm guessing this is Evorsio? Yes. Based on the recipes and the progress that we have made so far, it seems that we don't need to get into astral sorcery or blood magic anytime soon, because there's literally nothing that we need to craft from them. Or at least in this age. But if we manage to upgrade our altar, set up a ritual, and get into blood magic, our lives will be so much easier. And this should be Armara. That's not how you do it. Oh, this is how you do it. Okay, yes. Armara. And now that we have actually unlocked Armara and Evorsio, we can get the Singularity, and that will grant us 3 additional perks, which we are going to use it in order to unlock Avitus, so that we will get extra hearts, and I can get 5% more, which is really good, and 5% more? Nice. The key of getting into blood magic is Avitus, because we need to regenerate health in order to use our blood altar. So if we manage to start making the ritual pedestal today, I'll be very happy. I'm trying to gather some stuff in order to do a bunch of crafting, and for that we need infused wood. Maybe a bit more? Avitas is not out tonight. It's literally been 3 nights. It's fine by me, we can start with the rest. The first thing that we're going to craft is a ritual pedestal. Then we need to start making some lenses, and for that we are going to need infused wood. But not the log, this one. So now we should be able to make some lenses? Yes. We don't have that many resources, so we're only going to make 5 of them. So far we only have 2. I'm very confused. Did you duplicate stuff? So it actually depends on the quality of the rock crystal that you're going to use. Ah, I had no idea. You know, I'm actually tired to wait every day and wait for a constellation to show up during the night, so we are going to start making an imperfect ritual stone from blood magic. And thankfully, we can make it with our garbage orb. So if we put this guy over here, put a block of lapis on top, we should be able to make it nighttime. A bit of lag, but it worked. Finally, Avitas is out and we can attune our celestial crystals. And by the way, these are max size celestial crystals, so they should be awesome. But the thing is, we are going to need 2 of them, one for the ritual and one to amplify it. And thankfully, we do have enough starlight. That is really good. Here is one, and here is the second one. The final question is, can we also upgrade our altar to the iridescent altar? Yes. Very good. Because I honestly thought we were not going to have enough starlight. Our vision has expanded. Very good. So now we need to start upgrading the structure, which is actually not that bad. The good thing about the altar is that from now on, we actually don't have to increase the size, we just have to add bits and pieces. And we are done. Very good. That is for decorations. This is the one which is actually powering the altar. Now we need to start making this structure in order to amplify the power of our altar, because it will increase the power of the celestial collector crystal. And I think we just make it over here. So if I'm not wrong, this should be the structure. I think. But we will know soon enough. We can put our collector crystal, which is attuned to Dissidia, on top, and then we need to provide it with 8 buckets of starlight. And the only question is, how would I know if it's working? It has to be 1 block higher. Okay. I'm guessing the particles mean that it's working, so we can link you to you. And now we should have crazy amount of starlight? Yes. So this altar is also going to require 5 spectral relays. We have 4, but I think I have 1 in our system. But now we should start making a ritual. And the ritual is also going to require a multi-block structure, which does not look that bad. Okay, let me make it. This should be the multi-block structure. The ritual pedestal goes on top. And now we can put a collector crystal on it. Right? So do you give me any effects? Yes. I did notice my mistake. It should not be a collector crystal, it should be a rock crystal. And I think I have a max one here, yes. We just need to attune it. It is attuned. Can I pick it up? So now we should be able to put it on top and it should give me regeneration. Yes. Okay. Now that we have regeneration, we need to start amplifying it. I was led to believe that there will be beams of light coming out of this guy and I have to reflect them back using lenses. But I do not see any beams. But in any case, we are going to try and amplify it using our collector crystal. So we just need to link you to you. Yes. Ah, now you can see the beams. Okay, now we need to redirect them. Yes, we put a lens and then we redirect it over here. Now there should be another beam. It's not in a very ideal location. Okay. You know what? Whenever I put a lens over here, this guy turns off, so we lose all the beams. The thing is, this is not going to give me regeneration 5 or something, so regeneration 2 for me is fine. And since I have already made a ritual anchor, I think we should be okay. We just put it right next to our blood altar and it should work. Because we don't want it to cover a huge area, we just want to cover our altar area. And I have regen over here, so it's fine. And now if we do some self-sacrifice, we should get a lot of blood. And we have regen. Oh, that's nice. It's really fast. Yeah, it's really amazing. Look. One last thing that I want to do before finishing off today's episode is that I received a comment which I actually found it very useful. So we are using golden chests here for storage and someone suggested we should use crates from Actually Editions because they are massive and they're not that expensive to make. Or maybe they are. Nickel. Ew. Well, honestly, now that we are pulverizing stuff, we are getting a lot of nickel, so we should be fine. You know, these totems are so weird. I keep walking past them and I don't get a speed boost. This one gave me. But I swear to you, the other ones did not. It seems you cannot smelt down this. So we have to convert it into ingots and then use it. I should have probably known that because I have checked the recipes like 10 million times by now, but you know, we all forget. So now can I smelt you? Yes, very good. So we need 4 chests in order to make a small storage crate. Then we need 2 small storage crates to make 1 medium, which is 8 chests. And then we need 1 small storage crate and a medium storage crate to make the big one. It's actually very expensive. We also need a lot of treated wood, and I think we can craft them using a jerry can. Yes, we can. And that rhymed. Let us do a very small size comparison. So this is the gold chest. This is a small storage crate, which gives you more inventory. And this is a medium one, but it has 2 pages. So I would say that's actually a really good solution. I don't know why I was not thinking of that. And this is the large one, which gives you 3 pages. I have gone through most of our supply of wood and I could only make 10. But I'm guessing that 10 is more than enough anyways, because by the time that we fill it in, we have reached applied energistics. Anyway guys, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Next episode we will continue with astral sorcery, blood magic, and maybe get into abyssal craft and also start generating RF. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.